Welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into a startup pitch that is, frankly, wild. It's an incredibly ambitious and super aggressive plan aimed at totally flipping commercial real estate on its head. This pitch deck comes from a Vienna-based company called OTTIMEDIA, and let me tell you, it's an absolute masterclass in high-energy financial forecasting. Our job today is to unpack the massive claims, the tech, and the eye-popping numbers they're throwing at potential investors.
Now, the core vision here is just huge. Imagine taking empty office towers and turning them into a giant, high-yield digital media network. They actually call it a global facade monetization platform. So basically, they're looking at all those glass exteriors on skyscrapers, not just as windows, but as massive, untapped real estate just waiting to be monetized.
I mean, think about it. What if your city's skyline literally became a giant outdoor TV network? That's what OTTIMEDIA is trying to build. But to really grasp why they think this drastic transformation is even needed in the first place, we have to look at the global crisis they say they're solving.
Which brings us to Section 1, the empty office crisis.
According to their pitch, we are staring down a major, looming crisis in commercial real estate. They're predicting office occupancy could absolutely plummet, falling below 30%. And they point to two main culprits: the massive shift to remote work and, of course, AI automation. Look, for building owners, this is an existential threat. We're talking empty floors, tanking property values, and plummeting rent. And OTTIMEDIA is positioning their vision as the ultimate lifeboat for this exact problem.
Moving right along to Section 2, the transparent LED solution. So here's their proposed fix, and the scale is staggering. They want to wrap ultra-thin, super high-resolution digital LED video walls right around the outside of these buildings. We're talking screens ranging anywhere from 500 to over 5,000 square meters. But here's the real technological hook. They're transparent. They're designed to still let 70% of natural light into the offices inside, while simultaneously blasting highly visible ads to the outside world, even on the sunniest days. And apparently you can just install these onto 1 to 4 facades of any tall building with windows. To really give you a feel for this pitch, just look at how the founders describe it themselves. Notice the all caps. They don't just call it a business, they call it a Megavision. It's pitched as this unique, revolutionary, and exponentially growing platform that completely shatters rigid traditional business models. The language here is definitely built to scream disruption. Okay, let's get into the numbers in Section 3, dissecting the massive financials. The engine of their pricing strategy is all about undercutting the market, and I mean drastically. OTTIMEDIA claims their ad rates are 120 times lower than the competition. For some context, while Google reportedly pays $24 million a year for a single giant billboard in Times Square, OTTIMEDIA says they're only going to charge 17,000 euros a month for their skyscraper displays. Why? To make sure they sell out their ad space pretty much instantly. So, what does this mean for returns? Well, the deck confidently, and I'd say very aggressively, claims the business will generate a minimum return of 3,000%. Yes, 3,000. And they aren't projecting this over a decade either. They claim this astronomical yield is going to happen within just a few months of launch. Scaling up to 10 to 30 prime locations worldwide in year one, their revenue projections are basically off the charts. At the absolute minimum, they forecast 180 million euros. But if you look at their optimistic best-case scenario, they are projecting 900 million euros in top-line revenue, all within the first 12 months. Plus, they note that once they hit 100% occupancy, they plan to hike ad rates by up to 100% every single year. So exponential monthly profit increases are definitely baked right into the plan. Now, anyone who follows venture capital knows that nothing is ever a sure thing, but it is honestly fascinating to read a pitch that explicitly claims, again, in all caps, that an investment of this scale is practically without any perceptible risk. It's a hugely aggressive sales tactic, clearly meant to project total, unwavering certainty to anyone reading.
Let's slide into Section 4, benefits for owners and brands.
To actually convince office tower owners to wrap their beautiful buildings in LEDs, OTTIMEDIA pitches a massive win-win. First off, owners get an instant base rent of at least 200,000 euros per facade per year, and that automatically increases by 20% annually. On top of that, if the owner refers their own tenants to buy ad space, boom, they get a 20% commission on that sale. Oh, and the building owner also gets 200,000 euros worth of free advertising space on their own building every single year. It's a pretty intense package designed to instantly monetize that empty glass.
But wait, how does OTTIMEDIA actually fund this lightning-fast expansion and guarantee those wild 3,000% returns? Well, it relies on a super strict cash flow rule. Advertisers don't get to pay month to month. Nope, clients have to pay for the entire year of advertising up front within the first 7 days of the campaign. That massive, immediate cash injection is exactly how they claim they'll depreciate their setup costs almost instantly. And the marketing angle gets even more unconventional. Beyond just running standard ads for big brands, they pitch using these giant screens for what they call 15-second psychological short videos. These are literally designed to instantly summarize a property portfolio and psychologically influence the wealth of potential buyers walking by. The goal? To rapidly speed up real estate sales contracts, especially targeting ultra-rich visitors who might only be in the city for a couple of days.
And finally, Section 5, the pitch to investors. This summary slide perfectly captures the high-energy vibe of the whole offering. They directly refer to themselves as a unique, true unicorn startup made in Austria. They're highlighting a crazy fast 3x return on investment within the first few weeks, just driving home those exponential profit increases to reel in millions in equity.
So, what's the actual ask? Well, they've laid out some very specific equity tranches. They are asking for $6 million in exchange for a 15% stake, or $9 million for a 24% stake. But get this, they actually included a time-sensitive, almost retail-style hook. There's a special offer valid until June 2026, where an investor can grab a 1% stake for a discounted rate of $350,000 instead of the usual $420K.
They even lay out the exact mechanics of investing, step by step. First, you sign a stakeholder agreement and certificate with a notary in Vienna. Next, you transfer the first tranche of 3 million euros into a joint bank account, which, they make sure to stress, you can monitor daily for total transparency. After that, you're invited to travel to Vienna to personally inspect the LED video wall factory to really build that confidence. And finally, you transfer the second 3 million euro tranche to officially set up the joint company structure.
And the ultimate hook to get you to hand over those millions? The valuation target. OTTIMEDIA is boldly projecting that their valuation will sit between 2 and 4 billion euros in year one alone, and will absolutely smash past 8 billion euros within its first 5 years. Just massive numbers.
Look, whether you see this pitch deck as an unmissable, genuinely disruptive unicorn opportunity, or just an incredibly hyperbolic piece of marketing banking on the best-case scenario of all best-case scenarios, it is undeniably fascinating. It gives us a crystal-clear look at how aggressive startups are pitching bold, futuristic solutions to the very real crisis of empty commercial real estate in the remote work era.
So, after digesting all these massive financial projections, the promises of 3,000% returns, and the absolute sheer ambition of wrapping skyscrapers in transparent screens, I want to leave you with one final thought. As the commercial real estate market shifts, the actual aesthetic future of our global cities is totally hanging in the balance. So tell me, are you ready for your local skyline to be transformed from glass and steel into a giant monetized media network?